Welcome to I Heart Geek. And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek. Show me your geek. We do these episodes about once, twice, 3, 4 times a year because I love these episodes. Oh, yes. Oh, wow. That's nice. So we do these episodes a couple times a year where we're just talking about kind of what we're into right now, which we're geeks. That changes weekly. So we could do this show next week and it'll be somewhat different. So with that being said, here's our Show Me Your Geek. I'm Dub. I'm here with Christina. We're here with Skeeter. We're here with Kevin. How y'all doing? You finding new stuff to geek out on lately? Christina?
Yes, absolutely. I am always finding new stuff, and sometimes I'm finding old stuff that's new to me.
Yeah. I'm going through a big phase of old stuff that I've already seen and decide I love again, which we'll get into on some of these things. What about you, Kevin? You find new stuff, or you just kind of in that same rut?
Oh, I'm always looking for something, but I find whenever I find something that I try to push it on others.
I've noticed that.
And nobody wants to listen to me. I'm like, no, listen to me. It's good. I want to talk about it.
It gets a little, no, you'll like it. Watch it. No, you'll like it. Watch it.
Watch it now.
This is a weekly conversation between me and Kevin. Skeeter, what about you? Are you finding new stuff?
I'm finding new stuff and old stuff that I've put away and kind of shelved and just really, not done anything with, and now it's finding its way back onto the walls, and I love it. It's awesome.
So before we get into kind of our quote unquote lists, where do you guys trust, or where do you go to find new stuff or old stuff or whatever? What sources do you use? I'm kind of curious on that. Let's start with you, Skeeter.
A lot of it comes from my kid, from Griffin. We start talking about things, and just it kind of, like I said, I mean, it reopens old stories for me that I started and moved on from, and old books and graphic. I'm back into graphic novels pretty big right now, and I'm redoing, I'm making my theater and finding old things that I'm just like, wow. I picked up a box of comic books from my garage, and I started falling back in love with comic books of old, not the new stuff, the old stuff.
Sucks. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, where have I been for all these years? So I'm kind of coming back into, learning how to read.
Yeah.
And getting my geek from learning how to read again. That
is the kind of the funnest thing, is going back and kind of rediscovering. That's my favorite thing to do. It's just because you loved it, and then you quote unquote grow up, and then you're like, oh, I missed this. What about you, Kevin? Where do you go to find new stuff?
Well, two sources really. I have the most amazing friend group. Tyler is part of it, and then like Ryan, Christian, they're probably listening, and so like any conversation.
Hi, Ryan and Christian. I'm sorry, I just want to make people feel included.
Any conversation like I have or bring up there is you're from like probably 15, 20 conversations we've had throughout the week about the same thing. We're always going back and forth talking about stuff. And it's like usually if one of us watches or sees something, then we're all going to watch it so we can all then in turn talk about it. That and YouTube. I watch way too much YouTube. Like that's my go-to is YouTube, and my YouTube knows me.
So let me tell you why you're wrong on that. You're not wrong. I'm just why I don't like getting stuff off of YouTube, because by the time that they give you their opinion on it and everything else, if you don't already like it, you've been so kind of influenced by their opinion, which other than this show, you should always listen to this show. But a lot of the YouTube stuff, honestly, it gives you an opinion. And I think that we do have a wide enough array that we don't force an opinion down anybody's throat. But a lot of the YouTube stuff, I feel like, well, I've already kind of watched it from everything they've said, and well, they didn't like it and I trust their opinion, or they really liked it, so I like it instantly.
So I agree completely. And so what I do is I'll listen to one or two things, and then if it seems like it's going to pique my interest, I cut it off completely. No spoilers, no nothing. And that's the way you kind of get around that, because it will.
And this group has given me so much crap. This particular group right here with all the iHeart Geek people have given me so much crap because I've watched the trailer for Multiverse of Madness once, and I've stayed away from the spoilers, and I'm getting so much crap for it. But you people, oh my gosh, you are not going to be happy with anything you see. And that's why you don't want to see it. I don't want another Star Wars thing where I've written it in my head so it's so perfect. And now, well, it's not. What about you, Christina?
Well, Dub, I go to www.iheartgeekshow.com for all my latest information.
Use the code. We paid extra for it.
Right? No, in all seriousness, I think that, when you started iHeart Geek years ago, it reignited that spark in me about all the things that I love. And so it is a good source for me. My group of friends, definitely. Kevin has recommended some things that I never would have thought of. So has Skeeter. So, just our general group of friends makes a huge, huge impact on us. And I like it because we can disagree and still love each other, mostly.
Yeah, like Arcane. No, we'll get back to that one. I'm sorry. I just want to see Kevin's head explode. Okay. So I broke this up into little groups. These are the things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about books/comics. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about video games, TV series. I'm heavy on that one. Movies, and then food and miscellaneous. So we'll see where that one goes. I'm not sure. So we're going to go through these one at a time, and we're going to start with books and comics. And what is everybody reading right now that you are geeking out on? I want to give 2 shout outs, and I'm rereading the series Chew, which is about a investigator in the not too distant future, like literally probably it could be now, honestly, and they outlawed chicken. So the FDA took all this power, and they are like the controlling alphabet agency in the world. So they have all the power. And this guy, he's a Sebaphile or something like that. Anything he tastes, he knows everything that food has went through along the way, from growth to everybody that's touched it. He has a full picture of everything. And so he ends up having to bite people and take a bite of people that were murdered so he can find out how they got murdered. It's amazing. It's like, I think 10 graphic novels long. Please read this. Do yourself. It is hilarious. It, as dark as that sounds, it's not at all. It's got very different artwork. It's not like your Jim Lee stuff, but I really like the look of it. So I can't recommend that one enough. Chew. And then also, my other series I want to recommend is the Aragon series, which I read that probably every other year. And my kid just got into it. And so it's been so much fun talking about this whole series. It's 4 really long books. The Inheritance Cycle is called. It's a boy and his dragon, and it's fun. Don't watch the movie. It's absolute crap. But yeah. So let's start with Kevin this time. What books/comics are you currently geeking out on?
So currently, not much. I'm not reading much right now.
Shame on you.
I know. But if I had to recommend anything to anybody, it would be the trilogy of 6 books, even though they call it a trilogy, of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is one of my favorite things. I've loved the movie, the old radio show. Everything about Hitchhikers is definitely awesome.
May I interject in this real quick just for a second? Also, if you're into Hitchhikers, watch the freaking movie. It gets a lot of crap, but it is so much fun. Hilarious. And the ultra cheesy early Doctor Who feel TV series from the BBC is brilliant. And it tells actually a better story than the movie. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Just the irreverent British humor about the whole thing, and then the
Monty Python-esque, yeah.
Yes. And then what's the answer to life? Universe, 42. Everything. 42. I
have that tattoo.
Oh my God, that moment is hilarious. So
yeah.
That.
Yeah, that's another great rediscover, guys. If you haven't read it, or watched any of the media with it, check that one out. It's brilliant. Christina, what about you?
Well, first I have to tell, I have that tattoo. I have a dolphin on my ankle, and it says 42, and underneath it says, "Thanks for all the fish."
Very good.
Amazing.
So the first one is Spy Family.
Okay.
This is I am loving it. It's about a master spy named Twilight, and he has to infiltrate a private school. So he has to find a wife and a child. It's hilarious. It's fun. And then it has that very fun quirk where you read it backwards.
It's a manga.
Which I love. There's 6 so far. 7 comes out in April, which I've already pre-bought. They're really good. I think you would really, really enjoy them. Mm-hmm. And then taking it a little bit old school, Chronicles of Narnia. Back in my day.
All of them, yeah. Or was there a point that you're like, you're done?
No, I love the entire book set, and I am of that age that my books are actually in the order they were written, not the chronological order. So I have a very unique collection of the original set. And no, I actually enjoy all of them because it's a story to tell. And if you start at the beginning, I don't like the movie. Well, I like the first movie. Yeah. But it kind of went to crap after that.
Oh, yes.
It did.
I got up and walked out of the second movie because I was mad. Mm-hmm. Because, well, for me, so Chronicles of Narnia, King Peter, that was like, as a young girl, that was like the hero in all of my stories. And he says this line in the second book where he says, "I didn't come to take your throne, but put you on it." And when they did the second movie, they made him a whiny, petty little
He was beezy. Like in the first movie too, I thought.
And that was never who he was. And so it broke my heart. But yeah, those two, I think, for new and then taking an old school, those are the good choices.
Yeah, now, the manga thing, I just want to talk on that for just a second. Honestly, I love the way it feels because I'm left-handed, and y'all never get ink on your hands when you're flipping through pages. I do. So it's nice, but I can't get used to it. I try. I just can't.
Yeah. It is funny, though. I will say, like, it says, "You're reading the wrong way. Turn it over."
Yeah, I always read those in Comixology because it still feels normal because they move it for you. Skeeter, what about you, bud?
So I started back into, graphic novels, pretty big. And it was crazy because I was, as I was setting up my theater and my geek room, I found this gift that my son was given from his uncle. And I was like, well, you know what? I think I'm going to start with this one. And I'm getting through it, and I'm amazed.
That was Blackest Night for those who are listening and not watching.
Yeah, Blackest Night, if you're listening. I am just completely enamored by the story, the whole bit. But then I found I just Googled, a while back, like, graphic novels, top DC, because I'm a DC guy, and I was like, top DC graphic novels, and it gave me the top 100, and I'm just starting from the top, and I'm trying to find them. One of my favorites of all time is Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader.
Easy read, can do it in a weekend, in an afternoon.
One of the most easy reads ever, but it blows your mind.
Yeah,
how the story happened.
Fantastic Elseworlds type feel.
One I really want to get is Kingdom Come.
Alex Ross. Whew.
Alex Ross. Stuff. Oh my goodness. Just makes it happen. So I actually just bought a painting, an Alex Ross painting of all of the Marvel villains. That's really awesome. His signature is always in a unique place, but it's on the gun that Red Skull is holding. So it's pretty cool.
And Alex Ross's artwork is bar none. I can't say it's not for everybody because it's not comic art. It's art.
It's art.
There is so much age and like just character in every person that he draws. It's beautiful. While you're talking the 100 greatest graphic novels for DC, I want to throw in Watchmen. If you haven't read the Watchmen and you've just seen the movie, do yourself a favor, read the freaking.
Yes.
It's the reason it is one of the greatest graphic novels ever written. So
it's number 2 on the list. So
I have a copy or 2 around somewhere.
Yeah, it'll be my third read. The next one I'm doing is Dark Knight Returns.
That's long. And by the way, I don't know if you know, there's 3 books to that series.
Mm-hmm.
I would not read the 3. I would just go with the first one.
Just go with the first one. It's all the reviews have said. Read the first one. So
I can't hang with that one. I can't hang with the artwork. That's just me. Great story. I just can't hang with the artwork. Just me.
There's the Alex Ross right there.
Nice. Needs to get up soon.
Okay.
So now let's move on to our music section. And mine are all from TV and movies. And my number one I want to throw in is Peacemaker, the soundtrack. If I
want to taste it.
Yeah, if Tyler was here, he'd be jumping up and down, flipping out. It's 80s butt rock, and it is fantastic. I want to throw on the spandex, tease my hair that I don't have, and walk around a mall. Yeah. Oh, just it's fantastic. The next one up is the original Vikings TV show. That soundtrack, you can put that on in the background and listen to it for a month. It's so good. It's all done with traditional instruments and traditional feel, but it still feels so metal. I mean, it's very hard to explain on that one. And the final one is a song called Caravan, and that is from the soundtrack Whiplash, and we'll talk about that movie as well today. But it's a 10-minute odyssey that you just sit down, shut up, cut your distractions, and hold on, because it is absolutely it's straight ahead jazz, and it is fabulous.
Caravan by Whiplash.
Caravan. No, it's from Whiplash.
Okay.
Christina, what is your music choices?
So, 2 of mine are soundtracks. Big surprise. The Doom Patrol soundtrack, seasons 1 and 2, really good. They have that 80s feel, but they have a lot of new stuff in there too. There's a song called People Like Us by Matt Bomer that is just a fun, inspirational, bold stuff song that I really love. Tron soundtrack, Trepanese and Daft Punk. Yeah. I'm never not going to mention it. I can put it on and listen to it for days on end. Same with the Arcadia soundtracks, because you have 2 Steps from Hell. You have just such a huge variety. And then I'm going to take a little old school for one of my favorite songs, and it's In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida by Iron Butterfly. It's another 9 to 10 minute song that you can just it's a great workout song. It's a great driving song. If you haven't listened to it, you have to check it out. I love it.
Oh no, that's being a young guy in a garage band. You learn how to play that song. It's one of those things. Kevin, what's your music for us today?
So we're going to talk about 2 of these video games.
I know which ones you're going with.
Okay, so the first one is and actually they're my favorite games is 1 and 2. And I don't know where they place, but Skyrim, one of the most amazing soundtracks of all time. I still listen to it while I'm working on a construction site. It's the funniest thing when people come in. I'm on a construction site. I'm an electrician working, and the plumbers will come on what the heck are you listening to, bro? And it's Skyrim soundtrack. That, but one of the greatest video game soundtracks of all time, Nier Automata. Just the composer is absolutely wonderful. There's actually there's a live video of an orchestra doing all the songs from Nier and Nier Automata on YouTube, which it's haunting, the music, and it really brings you to a special place. I just can't. But the Nier Automata, I can't recommend enough in regards to a soundtrack, because it's out of this world. The music sounds out of this world. It's unlike anything you ever hear.
You should put the link to the YouTube in the comments below, so we can all check it out. That would be amazing.
For sure.
And then Kevin, what's the one you were telling me about that's like a jazz?
So Zelda and Chill. Zelda and Chill is a great one. So what they did is they compiled, and there's actually a part 1 and part 2. They compile all the Zelda songs throughout, and they turn them into jazz. And it's a cool, nice. I listen to it in my office while I'm working. And it has like the song of the Temple of Water, but all in jazz type. It's really have you checked it out?
Yes, I love it. I couldn't
It's good,
remember
right?
what the name of. Yes, I do. I'm actually. I play it in my office, and they're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Video game."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "What?"
Well, what about you, Skeeter? What are you listening to?
So, I mean, you jump in my car right now, and I'm and my playlist kicks on automatically, and it's The Fish Lives. So I do a lot
nice.
of yes. If you
Faith
know
No
what
More,
The
yep.
Fish Lives is, so Faith No More.
Great
with
bass player.
with a little bit of Living Color sprinkled in
Living Color.
because Corey Glover is my guy. Has been forever, since high school. I mean, if you were around us or around me and Dub, windows rolled down. If it wasn't Bohemian
Nirvana.
Rhapsody, Nirvana, or something like that, it was Living Color just blaring at 12
With JBL 6x9s in the back.
Yeah. So, Thundercat, I just, oh my goodness, like that smooth, jazzy, feel I love, kind of keeps me level. Soundtracks, I'm a child of the 80s. I'll take me some Rad soundtrack any day. If you know the movie Rad, that's where I'm at. I mean, it goes right along with that Peacemaker feel, 80s hair bands. I'd love it. And then a little fun stuff every once in a while, especially when I'm walking or working out. I like the 80s goes punk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Pop Goes Punk is really good too.
Pop Goes Punk. Punk is so much fun. 80s Goes Punk will blow your mind.
I'm going to look at that today.
It's so much. It's like, what in the world just happened? So
I'm so excited about all this because I'm like looking up on my phone, and screenshotting everything as you're just going through. So,
and if you need just a walk through nostalgia, and for me, like you guys like your video game soundtracks, I have every Disneyland, music of Disneyland soundtrack ever. And if I just need a moment of Disney without the high prices and yeah, we won't even talk about that. I just throw that in and just listen to my Main Street music. And
what's your favorite go-to Disney?
Jungle Book.
Tiki Room, always.
I love the Tiki Room. Do you have the Phantasmic soundtrack?
I do.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was one of those things. Phantasmic always has a really strong place for us. I got to be there for the first ever. I think Dub, you were with us on the Disney trip.
Yep,
we're there.
I was there. Shut the front door. Okay, that's weird. That's so.
It is
weird.
a small world on some things.
Totally.
Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to our next subject, which is video games. I got Forza 5. I love racing games, and every time they have a new Forza Horizon 5, but Forza Horizon 5. I love all of these games. These are the funnest racing games ever. It's the reason to own an Xbox. It's fantastic. Now, but that's the small news. This is the big news, and this is what makes me happy. Telltale is back. Thank you, God. This is the little company that could. It's comic books. It's Batman. It's Fable, which you've heard me talk about in the past. There's Game of Thrones, and it's a video game choose your own adventure, and I love it, and it makes me so happy. And they're back. They came back in business. They got refunded.
Wolf Among Us.
Life is good. Wolf Among Us. That is That game is highly underrated, but brilliant.
Brilliant.
Christina, what is your video games, or do you have video games for us?
So I fall into this weird niche place. I don't typically play video games. If I do, I'm a little old school. Like I love the Xbox. No, actually, I love the Xbox Classic Hexagon. I love patterns and I love things like that. So I love that game and I will kick everybody's butt on it. But I actually love watching other people play video games. Like I spend a lot of time on Twitch watching people play. I will sit down and my son-in-law plays. I love all the zombie, the COD zombie games. Yeah. I love those. Like I'm obsessed with watching people play them. And then I love jump scare games. I love to watch jump scare games. I will play them. I like FNAF. I like Annie, Are You Okay? So have you ever heard of that? It's so much fun. It's actually Michael Jackson is a zombie and you have to escape him. It's a computer-based game, but it's a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun to watch people because they squeal and they scream, and it's a lot of fun.
I want to suggest to you a game called Five Nights at Freddy's.
That's FNAF, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Now play it on an Oculus. Play it on an Oculus.
Oh no!
I will have to try that.
Oh,
I was playing it on my 84-inch screen TV, and I fell off my exercise ball.
Oh, you've got to do it on. You've got to do it on the Oculus. And then if you like stream it to your screen so everyone else sees what's going on, it is terrifying.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my god! And there's nothing to be scared of. It's a robotic mouse, but it is horrible. Sorry.
Well, Chuck E. Cheese terrified me, so there you go.
True. Kevin, what is your video games? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so
this is why you're on this episode.
I've already mentioned Skyrim. What hasn't been said about Skyrim? One of the greatest games of all time. I have like 500 hours into it. Great. The game I want to talk about is Nier Automata. If you go on to any review, the problem with Nier Automata, it was review bombed when it first came out. Yes, I'm doing my hands like this. It was review bombed when it first came out because people didn't understand how to play it. Because if you have to play it in 3 playthroughs, you're going to see the credits 3 different times. And each time you play, it's a completely different game. And it's almost like the first 2 playthroughs are the prologue to the actual main game, which is the 3rd playthrough. It's one of the wildest ever games you will ever play in your entire life, bar none. If you go on YouTube, and there's actually pieces on the web that call it the greatest game that you will never play. And that's this game's history. Also, it has one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. Let me describe to you Nier Automata. It is a 2D, 3D, JRPG, shooter, bullet hell. What else? It's all of them. Oh, it's it's all of them. You'll be fighting, and the way it goes, it's so seamless. So seamless.
I feel like you need a Twitch so we can watch you play.
Nier Automata, I have gone through, 2 different playthroughs of all the way through. The game is one of the most emotionally taxing games I've ever, and like to where after I was done with the playthrough, I couldn't play a game for weeks after that because I was so like in my head about, okay, what does this mean? The whole game's about what does it mean to be human. It's the most, and it's told by androids.
Are we humans or are we dancers? Oh, sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yeah, no. So I can talk, because anybody knows me, I can talk about this game for forever. The game touched me in a way that no other game's ever touched me, bar none. You need to play it. Stop right now. You know what? Let's stop recording. Let's go play.
No, that's not going to happen. After all these reviews, I am going to check it out. I just don't know when because I'm not going to pay $50 for a game.
I'm going to watch it. Absolutely, I will find a gamer that's playing it on Twitch.
And there's streams of it. I've actually watched the streams too, and you've got to watch it because, like, the first playthrough, you're playing as the girl robot. The second playthrough, you're playing as the boy robot. So it's a lot of the same.
Is this another one of those things you gotta be into for like 12 hours before you like it? Because you have a habit of suggesting stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say I was right. The game is the whole story is how great it is. Well, that's why it got review bombed. Is that people played the first playthrough and they thought the game was over. It's like, wow, but it's not. Game's not over. It's just the first little piece of it.
Outstanding. Skeeter, what do you got, bud?
So I love action, like
follow that, yeah.
But I'm an Uncharted freak. I literally bought the Uncharted series, started from the beginning, and
Tomb Raider is a boy, yeah.
Yeah, Tomb Raider is a boy.
Okay.
So I started from the get-go and played, like I literally sat down and didn't stop because I was just hooked. Telltale series, I'm right there with Dub. Especially the Batman Telltale series, little backstory. Griff and I went to Long Beach Comic Con, and Troy Baker was there, who is the voice of Batman in the Batman Telltale series.
Did a great job.
As well as Uncharted, he's Sam and so many other things. But Troy Baker was there, and Griffin took his Batman Telltale game, and we took it to the table where Troy was, and he was just in this booth. He was by himself, and he literally sat there and talked with Griffin for an hour. And even though we paid for the picture experience with him, he's like, come on back, and invited Griffin back behind the table and took pictures. I mean, that made me a fan forever. It was so awesome. The Gun series, I think it was like...
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
PlayStation 2-ish. Love the Gun series. One of my favorites, the Army Men 3D series. To take it way back to PS1.
He's got like this list.
Yeah.
And then Sniper Elite. I love sniper games. It's too much fun. Especially all the Sniper Elite games. They rock.
I want to throw one extra one since I only did two and everybody else. Well, Kevin did one, but he did a dissertation. So I want to throw in one more game, just because you can get it. I think for like $10 on Xbox right now. I don't know about PlayStation, but I know on Xbox you can get it for like $10, and that is the Deadpool game. Usually the superhero games suck. This one is fun because you are just Deadpool and you get shot up. And if you get shot up too much, of course, you got to go run away and let your healing factor. It is a fun run around, shoot them up, collect more guns, and shoot them up more. It's got Domino in it. It's got a bunch of like B-list characters. It's a lot of fun when they do that. Okay, I'm sorry I had to throw my one more in. So let's move on to TV series. I got a list. So. Oh, okay. So first one it's a new anime on Netflix called Zeus's Blood. So good. The animation, so good. The story, so good. The characters, so good. It's fantastic. I sounded horrible when I said that, but y'all knew what I meant. This I've suggested a million times, but I will never stop suggesting it, and that's the show Misfits. It's on Hulu. It's a British show where kids get trapped in a storm and get superpowers, and there's all sorts of superpowers, and none of these kids are superheroes. They are the worst people. They're dumb kids, I'll put it that way. And they're all in like a probation in the United States. It'd be like a work release program. That's what all these kids are in, because they've all done horrible crimes to get where they are, and now they have superpowers. So it's fantastic. Vikings Ragnarok. It's not as good as the original Vikings. It is historically and totally incorrect. With that being said, it's a fun show to watch. Stop the social issues, stop all that crap. It's Vikings, yay! They kill things with swords a lot, and it's Christian Vikings versus pagan Vikings, which is just makes my head explode. It's fantastic. I got two more. Next one is Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. If you haven't seen this one, you should. It should have been made by high schoolers. It's Canadian, and it's on like their HBO, so there's a lot of cussing and dirtiness in it, and just really. Jason Mewes is in it, from Jay and Silent Bob. Just do yourself a favor, watch 2 episodes, and if you laugh, and then you'll keep watching. If you don't, it's not your thing. And finally, you need to watch this. Guardians of Justice. It is so bad. This was made by, I swear, a bunch of 12-year-olds. It's animation, and it's drama, and it's comedy, and it's superhero, and it's video game, and like 2 of the actors are Diamond Dallas Page and John Morrison. So that tells you where the acting ceiling is. It's not there. It's terrible. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Don't go in expecting anything, and you will love it. Okay. Christina, what's on your TV list?
Oh gosh, I have a lot.
So did I. It's okay.
Great. Okay, so Lost Girl. Lost Girl is one of, in my opinion. It's
See what I did there? You're welcome.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, Dub, you're cutting out. Lost Girl is really one of the unsung heroes in TV series. If you like sci-fi, fantasy, anything like that, it's about a succubus and the human world and the world of fairies, werewolves. It's edgy. It's got Valkyries. It's pretty much it's got everything that you would like.
The vampires sparkle.
Yeah, no vampires that sparkle. No, they're pretty bad, mama jama. So definitely, it's one that I recommend checking out. I love, and I can't wait for the next season. Stargirl by DC on HBO. I watched it, and I fell in love with it. Like, I like the storyline. I like that they're a little more obscure heroes versus your big time everyday heroes. And I love the human aspect of it. Tales of Arcadia. Those are amazing.
Don't steal his thunder. Don't steal his thunder. Don't steal Kevin's thunder on that one.
I'm not going to say anything else other than it needs to be watched.
Okay.
And then I will get excited when he talks about it. Bad Omens. I mean,
isn't that Good Omens?
Good. No, it's Bad Omens.
It's Good Omens. The ones with Terry Pratchett and David Tennant's in it.
And is it? I thought it was. Yeah, I always get it mixed up. Is it Good Omens? Yeah,
yes,
I think you're right.
Fantastic book, by the way.
Yeah. Omens, whatever. The next season's coming out, so I'm really, really, really excited for it. It's just their bromance is brilliant, and it is one of the best written things that I've seen in a very, very long time. So
very weird buddy cop. It's a demon and an angel, and they're best friends over the millennium of time. So
yeah.
Trippy. Okay, Skeeter, what is on your TV list?
So my TV list, things I miss and I want back: Ragnarok, the Netflix version of Thor. It was kind of crazy dubbing, like weird, but it was so good, like so much fun. I liked it. Masters of the Universe Revelation, totally in. Kevin Smith's showrunner on that one, so it's
really you like that one?
Cool. I do kind of like it.
Oh.
This season,
I'm not saying you're wrong, but you're wrong.
The second season was kind of strange. It took a weird turn that I never would have expected, but so yeah, it's kind of crazy. I liked Jupiter's Legacy. Just the theatricality of it was fun.
Fortunately, they canceled that one.
But they canceled that one. What am I really watching right now? I'm watching Raising Dion, just because I work with kiddos, and I think Raising Dion's kind of fun. It's out there. I'm into like the treasure hunters and that kind of stuff. So I've been watching. I got sucked into Oak Island, and just because I'm kind of a geek in that area of finding treasure and things like that. But that's really it right now. Just
Fair
good
enough.
work and stuff, but yeah, that's my TV.
Kevin?
So I don't know what Tales of Arcadia is. I don't know.
I thought you were talking about. I thought you were talking. Oh, I know why. You know why.
I was like Googling it because Skies
okay.
of Arcadia is an old game I used to play. When you said Tales of Arcadia, like, is she talking about Skies of Arcadia?
2 seconds. Let's go back to Christina because I was thinking that we were talking about Arcane. So talk about Tales of Arcadia real quick, and then we'll get back to Kevin. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Tales of Arcadia is a 3-part series that ends in an epic movie. It's animated. It is genius. It is, it's on Disney, I think. Disney or Netflix. All of a sudden, I can't remember because, Dub shut me down. You really have to watch it. It's really good. You have fantastic, brilliant, genius music in it. And the storylines are amazing. And then the young man from, why can't I remember the actor's name? The one that passed away, he was in the new Star Trek movies.
Oh.
He was
the Russian kid.
Yeah, he's the original voice, and he brings so much to that character. But you have to watch them. They are worth every moment. And I will put in the comments below the order you should watch them before you watch the movie. So you're watching them. And it has old school, new school, space, everything.
And just real-time fact checking, it wasn't Scotty, it was Chekhov.
You're right.
It's a Russian kid.
Because
Scotty was Simon Pegg. So
Pegg.
He's still with us, thank God. Okay, now Kevin, do your thing. I'm gonna sit back.
Skies of Arcadia, I'm definitely gonna check out with my daughter because that looks like she has troll hunters below, and it's on Netflix. I was just looking it up when you said it, so I'm constantly looking for shows to watch with my daughter. So also on Netflix is a show called Arcane, and Arcane is based off of League of Legends. And League of Legends doesn't have like this great. It's not known for its great story, right? So it's taken some of the characters and created this like lore around them. And when I tell you it's 9 episodes, the first season is 9 episodes on Netflix, and they released it in parts. First 3, second 3, third 3. And so like in order to really get a good idea of what the show is, you have to watch it in that way. Watch it in parts. I tell you that show is, I don't want to give too much away because that show, it's amazing when you don't know what's going to happen. And I'm not going to give too much away, but I will say it's a lot like WandaVision, where WandaVision, if you watch the first 2 or even 3 episodes, you weren't going to know what happened. It's like, what if? And what if you watched the first and second episode? I have friends that never finished What If and it had so much in it at that back half. Same way with Arcane. I can't recommend it enough. You will thank me if you watch in the parts, like I'm saying. It's amazing. I don't want to, again, I'm not saying too much about what happened because that's the fun of it.
But he will put the order in the comments for you.
Yeah.
That's the fun of it.
Okay, and I'm gonna say this. I only watched the first episode, so I'm holding my judgment until I watch till I watched 3. And that's all I'm gonna leave it at.
Yeah, the first episode, I thought it was a steampunk Final Fantasy game or Final Fantasy style.
It starts a little. It starts slow.
Yep, it does.
Let's leave it at that. Okay, so now let's move on to movies, and the first one I'm going to mention is for the wrong reasons. There's a movie on Peacock right now called Marry Me. Now, this was a comic book that was like 4 issues, and it was just charming and cute and fun, little funny, just real lovable, likable characters. And then I watched this movie, and I was like, I would rather watch someone go to the bathroom. It's with Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson. And when you think of a leading man, that's for a romantic lead, you think Owen Wilson. Oh, jeez. And okay, now, and I don't get offended on like when people put religious stuff in movies. I'm like, whatever. There was a scene in there that, I was actually offended by, and I don't get offended by stuff. It was really bad.
Is it the church? Church portion?
Yes.
I'm curious now. I'm curious.
That the concert, yeah, that was icky. Yeah, I was like, wow. And I don't get offended by stuff like that at all. And it was like, it made my skin crawl. But now
take that in the theater. I felt dirty.
But take that out, and the movie was still garbage. So I just wanted to mention that because you shouldn't watch it. Okay, next three I want to talk about is Whiplash, which is the most stressful movie I've ever watched in my life. You will give yourself a heart attack watching it. It's not scary. It's not high stakes. You will stress yourself out and rip your own hair out as you watch this movie, and it doesn't stop. I highly recommend it, especially if you're into music. Next two are really old, and it's just I rewatched it last night. Starship Troopers. Oh my gosh!
Starship Troopers.
And
I love it.
You know the brain bug? Was that meant to be as dirty as it was? Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm still family friendly, but everybody knows what I'm talking about on that brain bug. I'm like, wow, okay. And then the final one is, just because Skeeter's on this show, I wanted to mention this movie because we haven't talked about it in a while. Book of Love. It's early 90s, late 80s. It's a fun movie. It's a look back at the 50s as people probably were a lot more than the Father Knows Best version that we've always gotten. Okay, so let's go start with Kevin this time for movies.
Well, my favorite movie of all time is Multiverse of Madness. It's going to be coming out. I'm already expecting. I'm kidding.
Stop doing this to yourself.
Now, if I had to recommend any movie to watch, and it's a wild movie, it would be a Toxic Avenger. I actually have Toxic Avenger right here,
and we'll be doing an episode on that in the next few weeks. Just have
that movie. When I was 18, I actually watched with Tyler, and it opened my mind to
the fact that anybody can make a movie.
Amen. A whole different realm of possibilities in movies, and how it was like a dark comedy, horror, gross, horrible acting, but still intriguing. And it's just a wild trip of a movie.
Can I cut you off for 1 sec before you name the rest of your list? But I got to say something about this because this is pertinent to the show. My hatred and my trash talking for New Jersey started with that movie. I remember I was like 10 years old. I was in the video store, and they had the Toxic Avenger. Finally, the first superhero from New Jersey. And that literally shaped my entire thoughts on New Jersey. New Jersey hasn't done anything bad to me except for giving us that crap no talent hack. You know what I'm talking about, Springsteen. Love y'all. But other than that, it hasn't done anything wrong. But that shaped my life as far as my thoughts on something. That movie. I'm sorry, I had to go. You guys more, Kevin?
No, I agree with you. For a couple of years there, I thought toxic waste was literally in New Jersey, and I still say the New Jersey just stinks joke. It just smells, and it's become
from the guy in Florida. Okay, sorry.
And then well, they all come down here and ruin our roads, but no, and then I mean, I'm sure we've all seen it. It's just because that, but Joker. The Joker was I loved it. I watched it 3 times in the theaters. I thought it was from somebody who I used to work in the hospitals with psych patients. I was a safety tech for a while, and there were certain things he did in that movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, amen. There were certain things that he did in that movie where I'm like, oh my God, I've seen people do this. Like, he's hit it. Like, it was just such an intriguing film to me.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Peter?
Oh, good night. So, movies. Let's just go that way right now. The top corner of my screen. Oh my gosh.
You should probably say what it is for our listeners.
So, for the listeners, you can't see what I just pointed at, but my background is the Batman cartoonish, and it's the Batman. I completely forgot about sparkly vampires. Wow.
Really?
If you have not seen this movie yet, spend the money, go see it. It is amazing. The Batman. Oh, oh my gosh. Like, it took the place of a lot of things, and it'll make you forget a lot of other really bad Batman movies that were made maybe in the 90s.
Maybe.
Oh,
or even an angry
not talking
Australian
Keaton.
guy. Or no, not Keaton at all, but the other ones that showed a lot of gratuitous booty. The other ones for
Bat
me,
nipples.
so yes, definitely one of the movies I have like literally in the glass case next to my PlayStation in the living room is Book of Love. My son and I watch it repetitively just because this thing was my teenage life. Dub and I watched this thing all the time, and
Almost more than Wayne's World.
Almost more than Wayne's World. We tried to relive this movie over and over, trying to figure out which character we actually were.
And you don't want to admit which one you are.
Yeah, you don't want to admit. Once you watch it, you don't want to admit which one you were.
And you were. You definitely were.
Yeah. But the reality of so many movies right now, Uncharted was awesome. It was a lot of fun. There were certain things that happened that just brought you back to the game, that made you happy. And then what have I been watching a lot lately? I kind of pull up stuff. I love streaming now. It's so cool because you can find those old movies and bring them back up. I think those two really encapsulate. I've been going back to the Keaton Batman, watching '89, just to watch it and see how actually good and just wonderful that movie was. And just reminding me of like what my basis is for being a geek, and that's really a big picture of it.
Nice. Christina, what you got for us?
Okay, so I'm going to take the first one, very old school. If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. It needs to be a part of your life at some point in time, and that is American Graffiti by George Lucas. It is the quintessential feel-good, coming-of-age movie.
And without it, there would be no Star Wars.
Yes, and without it, there would be no Star Wars. So you really need to show that appreciation of his genius back then. So definitely. And then it's Anton Yelchin who plays Chekhov. And he is in 2013 Odd Thomas. It's an adaptation of a Dean Koontz novel. It's very well done, in my opinion. It is a little low key, but I love that movie. And absolutely, I just watched it last night, so it jumped right up on my list, and that is Awake with Gina Rodriguez. And it's on Netflix. And the concept is you can't fall asleep. Something happens and people cannot fall asleep, but there's a handful of people that can. And it's that whole concept of what happens to your brain if it can't rest. And it is a delightful twist and turn of humanity that will horrify and shock you, but keep you at the edge of your seat. So it was really good. And then, of course, I absolutely am in love with, can't wait for the next one, The Old Guard, with Charlize Theron. It's so good. And it's like, I can't appreciate it enough.
Very good. Okay, so we're gonna kind of wrap here, but we got one more we're gonna do. So this I kind of titled "Food and Miscellaneous." So anything you want to talk about that you feel like we missed, but I have to say this with the food thing: barbecue season is upon us, and I'm doing something I thought I would never do. I'm this barbecue season. I am learning how to grill vegetables.
Yum!
I know. I'm trying to.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Dude, let me know when to come out. I'll help.
I'm really hungry right now.
You're gonna have this perfected by June, right?
I hope so. We'll see.
Yes.
I've championed vegetables. That's my favorite thing to grill.
I'm a meat guy. I'm a big meat eater. But so, is there anything else that anybody would like to bring up before we close up, Christina?
I would say lumpia. If you haven't tried it, you need to. And I'm currently obsessed with glass noodles. They're shirataki mushroom-based noodles, and they make the best ramen I've ever had.
Nice. Kevin?
If you've never had pho, or how they say it in Vietnam,
Top
pho.
ramen. Top
What
ramen.
the fuck?
No, it's not top
It's
ramen.
top ramen.
It is not top
Pho
ramen.
or
Top
pho.
ramen.
Kevin, we
I
have a
literally-
place here.
I
It's called
literally
What the
eat it
Fuck?
once. I literally eat it once a week. It's so good. And
For 39 cents. Ramen. Sorry.
No.
bro.
I apologize. I can't stop.
And then I can't stress enough near Automata.
Skeeter, what you got, bud?
I've been big into Italian food lately, doing a lot of a little safer pastas, but really, perfecting my pasta game with different pestos. Like currently, I've been using a lot of pistachio.
I love a
and
good
then
pesto.
Pistachio pesto, it's freaking phenomenal. But I'm right there with you. Pho for me, we have one of the best in our area. Is a couple blocks away. So stinking good. But they have the best calamari there too. So
Mm.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a place called What the Fuck.
With that being said, I think it is time to eat. So check out the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use com we paid extra for it. Buy a shirt in the store. Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm not very good at the Instagram. I don't like the Instagram stuff. Whatever else we have stuff. Come talk to us. We will talk back. There's one other thing. Oh yeah, in June, Amazing Comic Con, June 17th, 18th, and 19th. We'd love to see you and talk to you and get you on tape if you're a listener to the show. And with that, I'm Dub. I'm here with Christina. We're here with Skeeter. We're here with Kevin. Keep on geeking on, guys. Go back. Let's do it again. Write down all the stuff you want to watch. Keep on geeking on.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.